Thank you.
For what, Shumai?
For wanting to be here with me.
Another day. I woke up with a smile, ready for the new day to start. I went to the bathroom to get myself ready for the day. I fixed my hair to the best of my extent and applied some makeup to hide the bags under my eyes. You are loved, and today is going to be a great day, I exclaimed to the window with a smile. I knew deep down that this was a lie, but I do this every morning. I smiled and walked out of my room, seeing Shuichi standing there in a daze.
Shumai?
I asked, teasingly looking over at him. He didn't acknowledge my presence, so I walked over and flicked the group of hair that always sticks up no matter what. He jumped a bit and immediately moved back. His face was red and his hand went to cover his mouth. I know better than most people that this means he is nervous and embarrassed. I mean, it's not that hard to read Shuichi, because he's always not great at having a poker face about things. Funny that his talent is being a detective. All jokes aside, I went back to teasing him because it was fun.
Is my little Shushu embarrassed?
I asked, poking his chest while I moved closer to him. I was half expecting Kaito to come out of nowhere and start a fight or something similar. But with the lack of distractions, I was able to tease him as much as I please. He shook his head, making him look absolutely adorable.
Is little Shumai embarrassed about the kiss?
I asked, making his eyes go wide. Bullseye. I leaned in again, pulling the collar of his shirt so he was at my level. My hand slowly moved to the one covering his mouth so I could slowly peel it off. His mouth was open, slightly while he gasped. I moved close enough where I could feel his breath on my lips, but then I went to pull away. But Shuichi moved his hands to the back of my head and immediately closed the gap. I was confused at first because of the sudden courage he had, but didn't mind a change of pace. I felt a small blush come to my cheeks as well, but I was so lost in the moment I just let it stay. I could feel the warmth from his cheeks on mine, as well as the heat from his body and his hands touching my chest and neck. I didn't mind any of it, and was surprised that he was holding it strong for this long, before I felt him slump against the wall behind us as we broke apart. I wanted to continue the kiss, but Shuichi looked so flustered that I had to take a moment to admire his cute face. His eyes were wide as he stared at me. His cheeks were red and hotter than the sun probably, and hands were shaking by his side, as well as his legs as he fell to the ground.
Was that too much for you?
I asked more genuinely than I meant to. I could tell he was confused by my change of tone, and by my honesty. I helped him up and looked him in the eyes, feeling a smirk coming back to my face.
That was very bold of you, Shu.
I teased, holding his hand in mine, placing a teasing kiss to the back of his hand. It made him blush even more, while a nervous groan left his lips. I smiled and looked back up at him, letting his hand go. He covered his mouth, cutting himself off. I laughed and poked his nose.
You're adorable, Shumai,
I said, putting my hands behind my head and leaving for the dining hall. I felt the urge to blush build up in my chest, but I pushed it down just like the feeling of wanting to break down and cry. The dining hall was mostly empty, but there were some people who were already eating and minding their own business. I walked in and grabbed a Panta before leaving the dining hall to go sit in the shade outside. It was nice out, even though we are trapped in a giant cage. I like looking up at the sky and being able to see the stars later in the day. It's something that helps me be able to distract myself from not being able to sleep, as well as being able to have something to do while I can't sleep. I smiled to myself, feeling the lies compiling in. Today is going to be a good day. Everyone here loves you. You're amazing. Dice is still waiting for you. This game is a lie. I shivered for a moment before I smiled again. I can do this because I have to do this. Being able to make it through hard things is the only thing that keeps me going, because one after the other, they're always going to come. But at least I have dice and the memories of being with them to remember that I have a family.
Hey, Kichi?
I heard a similar stutter behind me, and I smiled as I turned around.
Hello, my beloved,
I said, laughing as I turned around. Shuichi looked nervous as he rubbed his arm with his hand.
Do you want to hang out with me?
he said. He's absolutely adorable. He's always so shy, but he still asks me with that adorable blush on his face. I love you, my beloved,
I would love to, Shuchan.
I said, walking over to him.
What would you like to do, my beloved?
I grabbed his hand with a smile.
What about watching a movie or something?
He asked with a stutter. I leaned my head against his shoulder.
I would love that.
I exclaimed. He blushed more but grabbed my hand back, intertwining his fingers in mine.